Hello everybody, I'm Stephanie. I'm so glad to be here with you this evening. We're going to be taking some movement and bringing our intention to flip our perspectives to kind of think of things a little bit differently this evening. So join me on your mat wherever you're at and let's get started. As we're taking this flow together, we're going to be doing things in reverse a lot of times. So beginning in Shavasana, where we usually end. So coming all the way down, either to your back, with legs extended, arms extended, or maybe you bend the knees, knees together, feet apart, feet together, knees apart, however you would like. But we're going to begin at the ending today. And just noticing what that change, that difference does to us physically and mentally. So settling in, letting the feet open up if you've come to full extension in the legs. Big inhale through the nose, feeling the belly puff up. And exhale through the mouth. Beginning to quiet your mind, your body. One more time, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Softening from the tips of the toes this time, through the ankles, through the shins and the calves, the fronts of the knees, the backs of the knees, the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes, to the hips, the core, all around the belly, low back, middle back, upper back. Through the fingers, the elbows, the shoulders. Keep drawing all the energy up, 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 letting go through the neck, relaxing the jaw, the tongue, the eyes. And letting it go out the top of your head. Beginning to deepen the inhale and exhale, sending movement to the fingers and the toes. Send that movement into the head, rocking it side to side. Arms reach up overhead. Stretch apart. Hands come back down by your sides. And bringing your knees over your hips and reaching the feet up towards the ceiling, coming into waterfall. Usually we end with this posture. We're beginning today with this posture. Engagement through the toes, reaching the toes back towards your crown. Maybe you point and flex the feet, feeling length and movement sending into the back of the legs, to the calves, to the hamstrings. If the hamstrings are feeling very tight, you might soften the knees a little bit. Just beginning to bring awareness and energy up through the legs. And then sending that movement up the spine to the arms, maybe circling the wrists, wiggling the fingers, just taking any kind of crazy movement, warming up the body. Then keeping the left leg long, extended all the way down to the floor. Bend your right knee, and we're beginning with a belly twist. Left hand comes to your knee, right palm opens to the side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, right knee goes to the left hip goes underneath you to the right. All kinds of craziness with this one. Doing things backwards today. How does that make you feel? Inhale, right knee comes back to center. And exhale, right leg goes long. Bend your left knee. Right hand stays with your left knee. Left palm opens to the side. On your exhale, left knee to the right. Right hip moves underneath you to the left. Finding your belly twist. Inhale, come back to center. Right knee is going to come up to meet your left. And finding some gentle movement, making some circles maybe with the knees or rocking side to side. Just keep taking some movement, noticing how that feels in your body. Then plant your right heel down to the mat, left ankle of your right knee, reclining pigeon. Press your left knee away. Find some movement here. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. One more time. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. Just beginning to warm up the body. Release. Left foot comes down. Reclining pigeon, other side. Right ankle of your left knee. Engage the toes. Press your right knee away. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. One more time. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. Uncross your right ankle. Step your feet apart a little bit and walk the heels in. So we're taking a wide bridge. Ankles are underneath the knees, but you've widened the stance a little bit. Hands come right by your side. You're going to come up on the toes, lifting the heels, and lift the hips, lift the core. Exhale, come back down. Maybe you hover. You can touch back down if you'd like to. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Little squeeze in the glutes. Exhale, come back down. Touch or hover. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, come back down. You're going to bring the feet in. You're welcome to rock to one side or the other, or you can rock and roll all the way up to a seated position. Hands come out in front of you, making your way to tabletop. Finding some movement between cat and cow. Inhale, drop your core, lift your hips, lift the crown of your head back, bend cow. Exhale, spine towards the ceiling, chin to chest, press away from your mat, cat. One more set. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Come back to your tabletop, press down into your mat, shoulders are down and back. Bird dog. What? We usually do this at the end. Right arm forward, left foot back. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Really feeling how strong you are in your left arm. Core is pulling in, belly button to spine. And release. Right palm down, left knee comes down, other side. Left arm reaches forward, right foot reaches back. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And release. We're going to do that one more time. Both sides. Right palm forward, left foot back. And release. Left arm forward, right foot back. Pull the belly button in. Press down into the mat. And release. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips up and back. First down dog. Finding some movement. How does it feel coming from a prone position on your back, a supine position, excuse me. Deep bend in your knees, settling in. Exhale, press the heels back and down. They don't have to touch. Inhale, soften the knees. Exhale, press the heels down. One more time. Inhale, soften the knees. Exhale, press the heels down. This time, deep bend in your knees. Look up between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Belly button pulls into spine, just kind of heavy weight. Arms are just kind of swaying here in dead space. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're going to find movement in the spine today from a standing position. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, clasping all but the pointer and the thumb. Inhale to lengthen through the crown. So it's not the shoulders coming out of the armpits, but you're lengthening through the crown. Belly button pulling in. On your exhale, reaching over to the left, hips pushing out to the right. Inhale back through center, other side, reaching over to the right, hips push out to the left. One more time, both sides. Inhale, center. Exhale and reach over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale and reach over to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, hands are going to come to the small of your back. Reach your shoulders back. Your elbows are reaching towards each other. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hips reach forward, little back bend. Inhale, come back up. One more time. Exhale, reach the hips forward. Inhale, come back up. And release the hands down by your side. You're going to take some twisting motion, but you're kind of let momentum twist you from side to side. So be careful. There's nothing that you can hit on the sides here. You might have to move away from any objects. Just letting some motion happen naturally, but letting the kinetic energy of the arms kind of dictate what the rest of your body is doing. Beginning to slow it down. Arms are going to come back down by your sides. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, belly button into spine, standing forward fold. Just noticing how you feel. You can soften the knees, widen the hands. Don't have to go to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down through the crown. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands slide up your legs. Gaze in line with your spine. Exhale, reach back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank, shoulders coming over your wrists. We're going to hold here for a moment, just noticing how you're feeling. Where do you want to go? Do you want to stay on the toes? Would it feel better in your body for the knees to come down to the mat? It's completely up to you. With your next exhale, lower all the way down. Bend your elbows. Keep gripping the mat. Release your toes. They're pointed back behind you. Inhale, drag forward. Lift up, little cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up through tabletop. Toes touching, knees apart. Child's pose. Inhale, come back up. Lower all the way down. Drag forward, lift up. Little cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Child's pose. One more set, just like that. Inhale, forward, lower down. Drag forward, lift up. Melt back down. Press up, tabletop. Child's pose. Inhale, come all the way back up. Tabletop, knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands. Walk your feet again to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. We're going to hang here for a moment. If you'd like to, maybe you grab opposite elbows. You can rock side to side. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. Release those arms back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse. Come all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep moving with the breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bow from the waist. Swan diver, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees. Plant your hands. Step your feet back. Plank on your toes or come to your knees. It's still plank if it's on your knees. It's not a weaker choice, it's just a different choice. Second option, rather than lowering yourself all the way to your belly, you can bend your elbows, pause halfway down, chaturanga, then release all the way down. Toes point back behind you, elbows point back, shoulders roll back. Inhale, drag forward, lift up. Maybe this time to middle cobra, high cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Press back, child's pose. One more just like that. Inhale, back up. Lower down on your exhale. Drag forward, lift up, middle cobra, high cobra, or back to your baby cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands. This time step, hop, or float your feet to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep moving with the breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. This time, your choice. You're finding the full expression for your body. Maybe the hands are on blocks. Maybe they're on the ankles. Or something a little bit different. Maybe the hands reach behind the back of the calves. Really pulling the belly button in, reaching the hips up towards the ceiling. Feels a little bit different than hands in front. Releasing the hands, they come back underneath the shoulders. Step the feet back, top of your plank. Your choice, knees or toes. You can lower down halfway, chaturanga. You can take it to the belly. Your choice. You can skip it, go to down dog, go to child's pose, do something else. Then finding your back bend, low, middle, high cobra, or up dog. Press back, down dog. So you've got all your different options, really listening to the body, seeing how you're feeling for this moment, for this time. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands, make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. We're going to take a flow and some movement, and we're going to do it in one direction. And then we're going to do everything back in reverse, going to the other side of the body, just to kind of see what it feels like to do it in a different order. So beginning, transfer the weight to the right foot, grounding down all the toes, soften the knee, draw the energy up, 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 up. Coming onto the left toes, hands begin at heart center. Open the left knee, the left hip. Just noticing how this version feels. You can stay here. You can lift the toes. Foot can go below the knee. You can lift the foot above the knee. You can keep hands heart center. You can reach them up. They can move side to side. It's completely up to you. Can you grow in your tree? Reach up, 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 up. So everything's not going down, down, down. It's a very subtle movement. Just feeling that in your body. One more breath here. Hands come back down through heart center if you've reached them up overhead. Left knee comes back in line with your hip. And release, left foot down next to your right. Take some movement. Inhale to lengthen, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, bow from the waist. Swan dive or hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back. Top of your plank, you decide where you're going. You can take a flow. You can skip it. You can do something completely different. Or maybe something that you're comfortable with and it's not different. It's completely up to you. We're meeting together in down dog. With your next exhale, knees come down to the mat, back to your table, and you're going to walk your hands out until your forehead comes down to the mat, or if that's not comfortable, maybe you place a block underneath your forehead. Coming into puppy dog pose, really reaching the hips back. Full extension in the arms. Then walking the hands back and grounding down, elbow through the fingers. Really keeping the hands parallel. We don't want to let the hands come in. And reaching the hips up and back from there. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back. coming into dolphin, really pressing in to the forearms. You can walk the feet in. If that's not comfortable, maybe you keep the feet walked out. Keep the feet walking them back and then bend the knees, but really reaching the hips up in whatever choice that you've made. One more breath here. Exhale, knees come back to the mat. Come back to your tabletop, onto the palms. Hips reach up and back, down dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Right hip is pointed down towards the mat, so really using the inner thigh to dial the hip down if it's popped open to the side. Bend your right knee, come up on your left toes, step or walk your right foot through between your hands. Ground down all four corners, on the right feet, and the first top two corners of the left foot. Inner thighs engage, core pulls in. Inhale, come up, high lunge. We're holding here. Usually I like to take dynamic options, but something a little bit different today. Changing my perspective, I'm going to be a little bit still. Core is pulling in, hips are reaching down. So you have a tendency to tip the pelvis forward and stick the tailbone back. Really paying attention to that. Can you find a little bit more engagement through the inner thighs? Keep breathing. Keep reaching up through the crown. Press back through the left heel. One more breath here. Then stepping the left foot in until the left heel can come down. Left toes are going to turn slightly out towards the upper corner of the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Straightening the right knee. So both knees are straight. We're setting up pyramid. Right hip pulls back, left hip forward. Inhale, arms reach back up overhead if you've reached them down by your side. Exhale, tug forward, swan dive over your right leg. So we're coming into pyramid. Hands to the floor, hands to the ankle. If you have blocks, you can do that too. Once you've found your extended pose, really concentrating right hip back, left hip forward. So you're not letting the hips unalign themselves. Both hips are in line. If you feel a little bit too much intensity in the back of the right leg, maybe you inhale, come up a little bit. Tug the heart forward. Exhale, reach back down. Decide. The hands don't have to be here. You can change them. We're going to change this and take the same thing backwards. So spinning on the toes, we're going to go to the left. So you're spinning on the toes, go to the left, spin on the toes, go to the left again. This time you're set up towards the back of your mat. Pyramid, left leg forward, right toes pointed towards the upper corner of your right mat. Inhale, come up a little bit. Exhale, swan dive. Maybe take a few more of those. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, swan dive. How does that feel to directly come from one side to the other? Tugging left hip back, right hip forward, and to even face the back of your mat. That's a big change. One more breath here. Then we're going backwards. We're going back to the high lunge. Bend your left knee. You're going to step your right foot back a little bit. Squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale, come up. High lunge, other side. Different view. We're holding here. Really pulling the core in, hips down, reaching up through the crown, back through the right heel. You can always soften the knee if you need to, but you're still reaching back through the heel, if that makes sense. You're not coming further up onto the toes. One more breath here. On your next exhale, swan dive. Frame your left foot, plant your palms. You're going to control your left knee. If you take plank from your knee, right knee comes down, or your left toe back to your plank. And we're taking a flow from here. So lower down, chaturanga. Skip it. Finding your back bend. And then we're going to meet back together again in down dog, facing the backs of our mat. So meeting together in down dog. Exhale, knees come to the mat. And arms reach out in front of you. We're coming back to puppy. Reaching the hips back. Grounding down through the palms. Then walking the hands back, coming to the forearms, tuck the toes, pressing into the forearms, lift the hips up and back. Again, maybe you keep the knees bent and reach the hips up. Maybe you walk the feet in. But really pressing down into the forearms, belly button's pulling in. One more breath. Exhale, knees come back down to the mat. Come back up tabletop. Hips up and back, down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands, make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Coming back to tree where we first began. Other side, grounding down left foot. Coming to the right toes, hands come to heart center. Right knee, right hip opens up. Pause for a moment. See how things feel. Stay there. Foot below the knee, above the knee. Hands can stay at heart center. You can reach them up overhead. You can find movement, whatever you'd like to do. Different side. And hands come back down through heart center. Right knee comes back in line with the hip, and step the right foot down next to the left. Find some movement in the hips. Then stepping the feet apart, ankles underneath the hips, shift the weight back to the heels. Hands begin at heart center again, tailbone back, tailbone down. Chair. Weight in the heels. Hands can stay at heart center. They can reach out in front of you. They can reach up overhead. It's completely up to you. With your next exhale, sit down just a little bit lower. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, swan dive or hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back. Your choice where you'd like to go, what you'd like to do. We're going to meet back together in down dog. So meeting together in down dog, lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee and find your hip opener. Right foot reaches back to the left. Keeping the opening in the hips, not the armpits, so there's not a twisting of the torso. Draw a big circle with your kneecap. Reverse the direction. You can stay with your hip opener if you'd like to, spinning on your left toes. Right foot steps back behind you, coming into wild thing. Hips reach up. Arm can reach up or back behind you. Deep bend in the left knee, controlling the movement, coming back out. We're coming back and meeting together, three-legged dog. Shift your weight forward, shoulders over your wrist. Right knee is coming towards your left elbow. We're setting up for a fallen triangle. Right foot's going to thread underneath. You're coming onto the side of the right foot. Transferring the weight to the right palm. Left heel's coming down. Left toes are opening up to the side. Left arm lifts up or back. It's completely up to you. So you're opening up opposite direction. And release. Left palm comes back down. Spin on the back left toes. Bend the right knee. And step the foot back. We're meeting together in down dog. Lift your right leg again, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee, come up on your left toes, step or walk your right foot through between your hands. Left heel down, left toes out. Inhale, come up, warrior two. You're still towards the back of your mat, I know. Right knee is working towards your right pinky toe. Grip the mat, pull it together. We're holding here. Can you find that balance? So both thighs are working equally. If you feel one working harder than the other, notice if you've tugged forward or back. So you're just kind of floating right over top of the hips. Straighten your right knee. Tug front, dropping into your triangle. Hand doesn't have to go to the mat, but stacking left shoulder on top of right. You can gaze up towards your left hand. You can gaze forward. It's completely up to you. One more breath here. Inhale, come back up and reach the arms up overhead. Turn the right toes in slightly and the left toes out slightly. So you're coming into star. Exhale, cactus the arms, sit straight down, goddess squat, working inner thighs, pressing the knees towards the pinky toes, opening up the heart, hips reaching down, core is pulling in. We're holding here instead of finding some movement. I know you're used to finding movement with me. That's kind of a little bit different. You're like, what? Inhale, come back up. Here we go. We're going other side. Left toes turn out slightly. Right toes turn in. Open the arms back out. Tug forward. Coming into triangle other side. Just noticing how that feels on that side. Right shoulder stays stacked on top of the left. One more breath here. Inhale, come back up. Bend your left knee, warrior two. Really working left knee towards your left pinky toes. Shoulders rolling up, back, and down. You're back towards the front of your mat. Everything is right with the world again in your yoga universe. You've got it. One more breath here. Then windmill the hands down, frame the left foot, spin on the right toes. Plant the palms. If you take plank from your knee, right knee comes down. Control the left knee or left toe back to your plank. Take some movement. Take some stillness. Do what you would like to do. We're going to meet back together in down dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Left hip is down. Bend your left knee, reach your left foot back to the right. Hip opener on the left side. Big circle with your kneecap. Reverse your direction. You're welcome to stay there, go back to down dog, or spinning on your right toes. Left foot steps back behind you. Opening up, wild thing, hips towards the ceiling. Arm reaches up or back behind you. With control, bend the right knee, press into the right palm, right foot. Coming back, three-legged dog. Inhale, shift forward. Single leg plank, left knee towards your right elbow. Thread the needle, coming onto the outside of the left foot. Transferring the weight to the left palm. Right heel comes down. Fall in triangle, other side. Exhale, right palm comes back down, spinning on the right toes. Bend the left knee and left foot steps back. Down dog. If you need to, go back to child's pose. Take some movement in your body, whatever you need to do. Deep bend in your knees, look up between your hands, make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Step the feet apart, we're back to our chair. Hands begin at heart center, tailbone back, tailbone down. Then you can change the hands if you'd like to. With your next exhale, sit just a little bit lower. Really engage the core, engage the glutes. One more breath here. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bow from the waist. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back. Take a vinyasa flow. Find some stillness. Grab a drink, whatever you'd like to do. Meeting together in down dog. Lift your right leg, bend your right knee, come up on your left toe, step or walk your right foot through between your hands. Left heel down, left toes out. Inhale, come up, warrior two. I'm going to turn it around here for you. Then hands come to your hips, right toes turn in line with your ankle. We're coming to wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, crown reaches up, core pulls in just a little bit more. Exhale, bow from the waist, halfway. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bow from the waist, halfway. Inhale, come back up. Last time, this time all the way down. Hands can come to the floor, they can come to blocks. Hands to toes, ankles, maybe you come to forearms, you widen your stance. Coming to the full expression for wide-legged forward fold. Holding here, or if you'd like to, if forearm stand is part of your practice, you're welcome to take that inversion at this time. But taking your gaze back behind you, just bring your awareness to how the world looks upside down. Sometimes we just keep our gaze straight down and we don't even notice what's going on behind us. Coming back to the palms. And you're going to walk your hands to the right, framing your right foot, and step your left foot back. Maybe you might wiggle it back a little bit, coming into a low, low lunge. Bring your right palm to the inside of your right foot and widen your stance a little bit. Pressing back through the left heel. Left knee comes down to the mat. Coming into your lizard lunge. You can stand the palms, you can come to forearms, you can turn the toes out, you can widen the stance. Tiny engagement in the inner thighs still to keep knee over top of the ankle. So we're finding a stretch in the hip flexors front and back. Coming back up to the palms. Toe heel your right foot all the way over to the left. Setting up for your seated pigeon. Hips are square. If you need to sit on a cushion or a block or books or whatever you got. Maybe a small animal. No, I'm just joking. Don't do that. Walk your right shin forward if you're finding a little bit more extension, if that's the edge of your pose. Inhale, heart reaches up. Exhale, heart reaches forward. Coming down maybe just to the forearms. We're not going to come all the way down because we're going to find a little bit more of an engagement in the body to keep the heart rate up. So it's a little bit different than our traditional sleeping pigeon. Left toes are going to tuck under and press back through the left heel. Left knee comes off the mat. So it's a little bit more active. Press down into the forearms and lift the heart so you're finding a little bit more engagement in the shoulders and not letting the shoulders come up by the ears. You're going, what? My sleeping pigeon's supposed to be sleeping. How's this sleeping? This would be as if your pigeon was sleeping and it's sleepwalking. It's finding more engagement even though it's asleep. One more breath here. Then release. Left knee comes down. Palms come back to the mat. Keep the left toes tucked. Press into your palms and left toes. Right foot steps back. We're coming back to down dog. Take some movement through the hips. Pedal the heels out one at a time. Then reaching the heels down. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, come up on your right toes, step or walk your left foot through between your hands, right heel down, right toes out. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Then we're coming back to our wide-legged forward fold. So left toes turn in, hands come to the hips. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, all the way down this time. Palms to the floor, widen your stance, forearms. Here's your time to play around with your inversion. Take your gaze again back behind you. Things don't look quite as crazy this time since you've seen this perspective before. One more breath. Then coming back to the palms, if you've come down any further, you're going to spin on the left toes, Bending the left knee, spin on the right toes. Coming to your low lunge, press back to your right, through your right heel. Then bringing your left palm to the inside of your left foot, preparing for lizard lunge on this side. Exhale, right knee comes to the mat. Different hip, different side, left toes out. Widen your stance, stay on the palms, come down to the forearms. Finding your lizard lunge on this side. Tiny engagement on the inner thighs to still stretch the hip flexors front and back. One more breath. Come back up to the palms if you've dropped lower. Toe heel the left foot over to the right. Find your edge for pigeon after squaring your hips. Inhale, heart reaches up. Exhale, heart reaches forward, coming down to the forearms. Pressing down into the forearms. Shoulders are active. Tuck the right toes. Lift to the right knee off of the mat. Sleepwalking pigeon. I think that's what I'm going to call it from now on. One more breath here. And release. Right knee comes down. Come back up to the palms. Rock over to the left hip. Right leg is going to come out and around. We're going backwards now. From where we came to begin, we're going to go backwards. You're welcome to take it down to your back all the way, or you can engage the core. Hands right by your hips, lift with the heart. Hands can stay by your hips, reach out in front of you or up above, and lower down as slow as you can go. So it's up to you what you would like to do. Once you're all the way down, your choice. You can go back to bridge, walking the feet in, ankles underneath the knees, knees as wide as the hips, hands down by your side, lift the hips, lift the core. You can go to bridge, or this time, if you'd like to, if wheels in your practice, hands reach up towards the ceiling, fingers reach back towards your shoulders, they plant down. Elbows are pointed, not out towards the side, so they're either back behind you or they're up, depending on how your arms are made. Engage the core, lift the hips like you're coming into bridge, then pressing into the palms, coming into wheeled. And I just realized I unclipped my mic, so it's probably hanging back behind me, and that's okay. If you've lifted into wheel, very gently coming out the way you come. Chin comes to chest, neck comes back down, hips stay lifted, then we're all coming back down, one vertebrae at a time. A little bit different for our twist this time, for our belly twist. You're going to cross your right leg over the left, bring the knees over the hips. We're going to find a reclining Gomukhasana first, so grab below both of the knees. Inhale to prepare, exhale, pull it in. Test the waters. How does that feel? Does it feel deep enough? You should be stretching on the outer right hip right here. If you're not feeling it enough there, walk the hands down to the ankles. Again, test the waters. Inhale to prepare, exhale, pull it in. If you'd like to take it even further, grabbing the underside of both of the feet. Inhale to prepare, exhale, pull it in. And release, uncross. This time left leg is on top. Start testing the waters. So grabbing right below the knees, inhale to prepare, exhale, pull it in. This time seeing, is that deep enough for the left hip? You'll always have the option to reach down for the ankles. Pause there, test the waters, or grab the undersides of both feet. And release. Uncrossing the legs. Feet are going to reach back up overhead. You can go back to waterfall, or if you'd like to, reaching the hips up and then back behind you, coming into plow.
If you'd like to stop there, you can. If you want to go to shoulder stand, it's another option to kind of flip your viewpoint. Core's pulling in. Hands come to the small of the back, elbows in line with the hips so they're not out to the side. Reach up with one leg, then the other. Keep reaching up. Draw the energy all the way up through the toes. Spread the toes. So the hips are just barely floating on the palms. They're not dumping all the energy straight down. Can you lengthen the back of the neck? If you'd like to, you can bend the knees and roll back down, or maybe you reach one foot back behind you and then the other coming back to plow. Hands come down and rolling back down. We're all meeting together in waterfall. Bend the knees, crossing again, left leg on top. You can just keep that. If you want to take full eagle legs, you can do that too. Open the arms up to the side. You can cactus the arms. With your exhale, rolling onto the right hip. You might have to wiggle your way there a little bit if the legs unbind or whatever you need to do. You can look to the ceiling. You can look to your left arm. Takes the twist not only in the belly but a little bit deeper into the hips, into the low back on the left side. Inhale, come back to center. And other side. Right knee crosses over the left. You can tuck the foot. You can do whatever you need to do. You can place it down and walk yourself over. Letting the knees go over to the left. Looking to the ceiling, to your right palm. Inhale, come back to center. Both knees come over the belly, keeping a soft bend in the knees. Feet reach up towards the ceiling. We're coming into happy baby, reaching for the ankles, the shins, the back of the calf. But the shoulders, the neck is staying down. So if you have to lift the torso to make the connection, maybe finding connection a little bit lower. But it's up to you. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pulling in. You can be still, you can rock side to side, you can take ninja baby, whatever you'd like. Then releasing the feet or the ankles or the shins, knees come back together. You can roll onto one side or the other, grab behind the hamstrings, rock and roll all the way back up to a seated position. We're coming into a seated forward fold, so just a little bit different as we're ending today. Hands come right by the hips. Inhale to lengthen the heart, to lengthen the torso. Soft bend in the knees to begin with, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reach the heart forward. Find a connection. Grip the mat, the ankles, the toes, whatever you'd like to draw the heart forward. You can even begin to start to straighten the knees if that makes the spine curve a little bit, and maybe bringing the bend back into the knees. When you're as far forward as you can go, exhale, release. Neck goes heavy. Roll all the way back up, one vertebrae at a time. Coming into an easy posture with the right leg in front. We're going to end where we usually begin with a few more movements of the spine. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, right hand behind. Left hand crosses opposite knee, opposite thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale, arms reach back up overhead. And left hand comes behind, right hand crosses opposite knee or thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, right palm down, left arm up and over. Big side bend over to the right. Press down through the left hip, left knee. Inhale, back through center. Left arm plants down, right arm up and over. Pressing through the right hip, right knee. Just noticing how doing this at the end of a flow instead of the beginning, how different it feels. One more time, both sides. Inhale through center. Exhale, right palm plants, left arm up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale, left palm plants, right arm up and over. Inhale, back through center. And exhale, hands come down through heart center. Hands are going to come out in front of you, pressing down into the palms. Lift the heart, lift the chest, beginning to walk the hands forward. You can come down to the forearms, maybe two fists, maybe palms out. Grounding down any way you feel comfortable. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. I want to read something to you. This is a poem by Chani Gorkin. It's called The Worst Day Ever. Today was the absolute worst day ever. And don't try to convince me that there's something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, this world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness don't last. And it's not true that it's all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can be obtained only if one's surroundings are good. It's not true that good exists. I'm sure you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It's all beyond my control, and you'll never in a million years hear me say that today was a good day. I'm going to flip that perspective in just a moment. But from your seated forward fold, inhale, come all the way back up. Hands are going to come behind you, and you're going to ground down onto the palms. Inhale, lengthen the torso. Exhale, reach the hips forward, so you're opening up the heart. Exhale, come back down. Switch the feet, left foot to the front, right foot behind. Inhale, lengthen the torso. Exhale, reach the hips forward. Exhale, come back down. Left foot is in forward this time. Coming one more time to your seated forward fold. Press into the palms, hands out in front of you. Exhale, reach the heart forward, coming down. Forearms to fists, palms out. I'm going to take that same poem and read it backwards. Today was a good day, and you'll never in a million years hear me say that it's all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I'm sure you can agree that it's not true that good exists only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be obtained because it's all in the mind and heart, and it's not true that satisfaction and happiness don't last. Some goodness does shine through once in a while, even if this world is a pretty evil place, because when you take a closer look, there's something good in every day. And don't try to convince me that today was the absolute worst day ever. I love this poem just for the simple fact that it's just a change in perspective. It's the exact same poem. We just read it in a completely different direction. So maybe think about that. Next time you come into an inversion, just how you might flip your view. Inhale, come all the way back up. And reach the feet down in front of you and apart. Inhale, lift the heart again. Exhale, both knees go to the right. You're rolling onto the right hip. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, both knees to the left. You might do that one more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the left. Then coming back to your easy posture. Inhale, the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Just noticing how you feel, doing things just a little bit differently. Being grateful to yourself for your yeses. Being grateful to yourself for your nos.
Thank you so much for joining me. Blessings and namaste.